I want to take a moment to formally express Colorado's recognition of the Armenian Genocide today on the Day of Remembrance and every day. The Armenian Genocide was the first modern genocide of the 20th century, and it's been a tragedy that for too long has been unacknowledged. We know this past year, Armenians have endured additional tragedies in defense of their sovereignty, culture, rich history. And we want to let all Armenians here in Colorado and across the world know that we stand with you.
Amongst my brothers and sisters in the Armenian community. But first, I want to take the opportunity to thank and acknowledge a champion for all communities, but the biggest champion in California for the Armenian community. I was very blessed and fortunate to meet a then young man when we served together in the state legislature, somebody who I immediately saw as a righteous, upstanding individual who fights for what's right, regardless of who disagrees about the truth. And that is my brother and my friend, Adam Schiff. Every year when he was in the legislature in California, him in the Senate, me in the Assembly, he would introduce the resolution to recognize, formally recognize, the Armenian Genocide that began tragically 106 years ago. And it took the souls, the lives of 1.5 million beautiful men, women, and children. But for far too long, this country, the United States of America, which is great, would not recognize it at the highest level of our organization, our government, our country. But today is a proud day. It's a sad day for history, but a proud day to look forward and say, never again should we have the United States not formally recognize the Armenian Genocide for what it was. Something that should have never taken place. Something that could happen again to one or another community around the world. But never again will we close our eyes or be silent to the truth of the vacancy of so many lives. I stand here with my brothers and sisters in Congress to thank you for being so beautiful, being so giving, being so excellent, and making this country, the United States of America, better than it was before your family got here, before your family contributed. It warms my heart to see those of you who brought the little ones with you, the little children, who are so innocent, and their laughter and their smiles have yet to be negatively infected, like sometimes what happens to adults, people who commit atrocities like genocide. So it's not lost on me that every time one of us comes to this podium to speak the truth, we also remind ourselves that there's a vacancy. The people that we lost, the people that are not present, that vacancy is filled with your love. It's filled with your commitment to never, ever let anybody on this planet forget you and your people. The children that died, the women that were murdered, the men who fought for their lives and were killed because they said, no, I deserve to exist. You cannot do that to me. You cannot do that to my people. Never again. Congratulations, President Biden, for doing something that is so obvious and so simple, which is just to speak the truth on behalf of the Armenian people. Thank you so much for inviting us to be here today, Adam Schiff, and all the community members. Thank you. Thank you, Representative.
As a co-chair of the Congressional Caucus on Armenian Issues, I am honored to work on behalf of the Armenian Americans in Congress and bring awareness to the concerns their communities face. Today marks the 106th anniversary of the first days of the Armenian Genocide. 1.5 million Armenians were murdered and displaced by the Ottoman Empire from 1915 to 1923, the first genocide of the 20th century. The pain of this tragedy is deep. Many Armenians who were forced from their homes fled to the United States and have now created a proud and distinguished Armenian American community. As Americans, I believe we have a special responsibility to acknowledge the devastation felt by these families. Today, on the Armenian Genocide Remembrance Day, we remember the men, women, and children from Armenia whose lives were either lost or forever changed.
Grateful to the Biden administration for taking the crucial and long overdue step they did today to finally recognize the killing of 1.5 million Armenians by the Ottoman Empire as for what it was, a genocide. Many have pledged to recognize the genocide, but none have done it. So I applaud President Biden for doing the right thing and centering American foreign policy on universal values and human rights. Armenian American families will have peace of mind knowing that the United States government is prepared to stand on the right side of history in formally recognizing this massacre as the genocide that it was. And I'm so glad that the Biden administration has finally heeded the calls from me and many of my colleagues and all of you to take this crucial step. The only way to seek to live up to the phrase, never again, is to honestly and openly acknowledge the past. I'm so proud to stand with the Armenian American community and Armenians around the world. And I thank the Armenian American community for their decades of passionate advocacy and their fight for recognition. And I will continue to stand with them as we look to heal the wounds of the past.
Well, this is Congressman Adam Schiff, and I have the great privilege of representing the vibrant and extraordinary Armenian American community in California's 28th Congressional District. I want to thank the Glendale Unified School District leadership and staff, the teachers and faculty, Glendale Superintendent Dr. Vivian Ekjian, and GUSD board members for supporting the students at this event. I'd also like to thank the Armenian clubs from Clark Magnet High School, Crescenta Valley High School, Glendale High School, and Hoover High School for all of your efforts to make today's commemoration possible. On this somber day, we commemorate the 106 years that have passed since the Armenian Genocide, to remember those that we lost and to say that we will never forget, never. For the second year in a row, we are joining together virtually on this day after a dark and difficult year. And we've learned that community is what sustains us, even our virtual community. No one has been more resilient than the Armenian people, who have faced centuries of tribulation yet remained strong and unbowed here in Los Angeles, in Yerevan, in Artsakh, and all over the world. As we remember the 1.5 million men, women, and children that were lost in the Armenian Genocide, we also remember the victims of far more recent violence against the Armenian people, the many who died in Artsakh, the thousands who were forced to flee from Azerbaijani and Turkish aggression against their homes and their lives, and those who remain as prisoners of war. This horrendous violence highlights the importance not only of remembering the victims of 1915, but speaking the truth and recognizing this dark period of history as a genocide so that we are not doomed to repeat it. For far too long, Turkey has engaged in a campaign to deny the genocide, to silence those who would speak the truth, and to try and erase this horror from its history. They have threatened and cajoled others into shameful silence, and to my great sadness, for many decades, the United States government was among those intimidated into silence. No more. In 2019, for the first time in history, both the House and Senate passed resolutions by near unanimous margins affirming the facts of the Armenian Genocide. The House and the Senate stated what we already know, that 160 years ago, the Ottoman Empire unleashed a campaign of death and destruction and set out to destroy the Armenian people in the first genocide of the 20th century. I'm so proud that the House passed the resolution I've been carrying now for 19 years. Together, we stand together, united, stronger than ever, to say that their efforts to annihilate the Armenian people failed. Just look at the proud Armenian nation and diaspora. We will not bow to Turkey's demands to forget or to cover it up. I want you to know I will always stand with the Armenian community to honor the martyred saints of the Armenian Genocide. And our important work goes on as we continue to demand and fight for justice and reparations. I will always stand with the Armenian community as we demand peace and independence for Artsakh. And I will always stand with the Armenian community as we strengthen our ties between the United States and Armenia, always. While we can never undo the atrocities of this dark chapter of history, we must remain committed that we will never forget and we will never again be intimidated into silence. Please stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you.
I'm Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti. Today, President Joe Biden made history, becoming the first U.S. president to speak the truth, acknowledge the dark realities of the past, and recognize the undeniable fact of the Armenian Genocide. This day is long overdue, and it is 106 years in the making. President Biden, you have honored the memory of 1.5 million souls stolen in a campaign of terror and violence, and reaffirmed our nation's commitment to justice. I'm so proud that my city, Los Angeles, is home to one of the biggest Armenian populations in the world. Armenian Americans belong here, our neighbors, our friends. They are us. But we can never forget why Armenians came here in the first place, with little in their pockets and few possessions to their name, fleeing war and running from genocide. They came to seek refuge, to escape the shadow of persecution and chase a hope that a better world and a better life might be waiting for them in the days ahead. Like so many before them and so many after, they came because America was, in the words of President Lincoln, the last best hope on earth, the last best hope. Hope does not mean sanitizing the past or playing down the injustices of yesterday. Americans of all people understand that. Rather, hope means seeing the world as it is and striving for the world as it can be. It means speaking truth in the face of denial, grappling with the horrors of history, learning and leading to ensure that they never happen again. Thank you, President Biden, for keeping your word. And today, I stand with you, with Armenian Americans and with champions of justice the world over who commit to act boldly on two sacred words: never again.